What's up, everybody? Drifty here from Driftwood Gaming, and we're gonna do a live stream today. The last live stream seemed to work fine. We went on for 3 hours, and I was unsure if it was gonna work right because it seemed like it was only 2 hours on the upload, but like after a little while, it updated to like be the full duration. So I think YouTube has got its streaming thing a little bit more streamlined. Anyway, what we're going to be doing in this hour to two session is we're going to look at the Alpha ABS project that I've been working on. I really wasn't expecting to like make a full game or make another game since I'm working on the Dungeons of Driftwood, but I've kind of put that on the back burner, and that was not my intention. I kind of want to stick to one project before I jump to another project. And early on in my RPG Maker career, I had a bad habit of starting a project and then working on it for a couple weeks and then just like ditching it and starting a different project. And then I would kind of like build the database and set up it, get the project going, and then it would kind of go in a certain direction. And then I would figure out I would figure out something different, and I'd want my project to go in that direction, but I've already moved so much in one direction that it was kind of like hard to like put my new ideas into an older game. So I would start another project, and then I would do the same thing over and over, and that would repeat over, and I'd have like 10 projects and none of them would be completed. So I try to stay focused on one project mainly, like I did with the Legend of Driftwood and what I'm doing with the Dungeons of Driftwood. But when Phoenix Kagedisu came out with this Alpha ABS system, I initially tried to put that into the Dungeons of Driftwood, but the game had it's already at a point where it's no longer like at the beginning of the game. It's somewhere in the middle right now. It's still far from being released, but if somebody wanted to beta test it, I could probably put together a beta test version of it within a couple of days of work and whatnot. But so I started this tutorial project, this Phoenix Kagedisu Alpha ABS tutorial, and I'll put something in the card so you guys can go to check that out too. But building more on the tutorials, I kind of like derailed the Dungeons of Driftwood because I stopped working on it, and I was just working on this new playlist of tutorials for Phoenix Kagedisu's Alpha ABS tutorial. So I've actually got quite a bit down in this little tutorial project, but I'm thinking about actually turning it into a game now instead of like just using it as a tutorial project. Obviously, it still says Alpha ABS Tutorials, but you could rename it if you just go to System and change your title there. So that's not a big deal. So what I was doing this morning was building like an intro story to the game, and continuing to work on the skills and adding new things. So I kind of want to keep working on this project. I really like where it's going. It's still, it's really early, but I like the direction of this project mainly because of the new battle system. And I think I'm gonna turn this into another game I'm gonna make for you guys and release it. So yeah, I guess we could take a look at where the game's at right now and just run through, because Yanfly released that awesome new grid-free Doodads, and that's pretty awesome. And I had a lot of I was kind of worried that it wasn't going to work with Phoenix Kagedisu's Alpha ABS system because a lot of plugins don't work with it because it changes so many ways the game runs. It's a completely new battle system. So luckily, Yanfly's grid-free Doodads works with Phoenix Kagedisu's Alpha ABS system. So that made it even cooler working on this project. I got these new plugins from Yanfly, and I'm working with Phoenix Kagedisu's plugin, and a lot of them are meshing together. And Yanfly's plugins are extremely malleable, and plugins that I didn't think were going to work are actually starting to work. And I think Phoenix Kagedisu is updating his plugin, and he's making more compatibility and more compatibility. So things are starting to look really, really good for the future of this project if I continue to work on it. So I kind of want to do that. So I'll talk a little bit about the map design, because a lot of you, I've said this before, a lot of you may know that map design is one of my biggest downfalls. But it's such a crucial part, you know, the art and working on a project. Having the art well, maps are, you know, basically the maps themselves are art. You're building, you know, you're building the world. So having that as a pitfall of mine, it puts a damper on the quality of the projects that I can do. So with this project, I started kind of like branching out and trying new ways to handle the map design. And I think a lot of my problem was I would start this map and like I would think like, oh, I'm gonna make this big town, right? I want a lot of stuff in this town. So I would make a new map, and then I would be like, okay, it's gonna be like, you know, 80 by like 55, and then I would start this new map, and I'm like, I've got all this dead space to build on, and how am I gonna, you know, what's it look like? Trying to visualize the town, and what happens. I'm sure a lot of you notice this too. When you start off with a big size of a map like this, you'll build like big open areas and houses bigger than they need to be, and you have a lot of like dead space. And it really detracts from the game. And a lot of the maps seem boxy because they're just, I don't know if I'm describing it correctly, but what I've learned to do in this project, and I think I'm getting better at map design, is I've gone away from starting my maps big. Yeah, we're going to delete map 35. And I went with this system to where we've got one map, the screen is going to be the size of the resolution. So this helps me a lot, because now I could just focus on, well, what does this one little area look like? What does this small spot look like, right? Okay, this is just a simple dirt path. You know, there's going to be some trees, there's going to be some rocks, and that's it. Nothing special. And then that makes it so that I could put a lot of detail, and it doesn't look plain and simple. And then I would say, okay, well, that's going to be this one. And then I start another map, and I'm like, okay, what is this going to be? All right, this is going to be connected to the map I just made. So I have an idea of what the first part, you know, underneath it, or at the top of this map is going to look like, something similar to what the bottom of the previous map looks like. And then I would build a map to the left of it and the map of the right of it. And by building small maps like this, it makes it so that I can get a lot bigger of a world, because I'm not overwhelmed with this giant map. So I think that's a good way to go. You know, at least until I get a little better at map design. I have a lot of strengths, you know, and I don't want to be cocky or arrogant, but I know a lot about RPG Maker in all of its forms. I'm starting to learn a lot more about programming. You know, I put out the first plugin, but map design is still one of the hardest things for me to do. And with this project, I think I've made a lot of progress with my map design, and that's always good when you see progress, because a lot of us, myself included, we get to a certain point and then we start seeing like diminishing returns, right? The amount of time you put in trying to learn new things and what you actually take out of it gets less and less and less as you learn more and more. So when I get to a certain point with something where I'm getting these diminishing returns, it's like you're getting less reward from like the same amount of effort. So it gets harder to stay motivated. So I think the fact that this project has a whole new battle system, I'm actually doing more map design. Like all of these maps, you know, I made all these maps. And like I said, they're really small, but that helps me configure them. Like, let's take a look at this map right here. It seems like there's nothing on it, but that's because I'm using Yanfly's grid-free Doodads. So if we actually jump into the game and see what this map looks like, it's not a blank screen. I've designed it with Yanfly's grid-free Doodads. So, you know, it looks different from all the other maps that I've been able to make in the past, you know. I never really got into parallax mapping. I tried it a few times and I made some okay looking things in VXAs, but problem was it took so long that it didn't seem like it was a good investment. I would spend too much time and then they would look a little better, but I don't know. With this plugin, Yanfly's grid-free Doodads, it really opens up a lot of doors for me. So thank you so much, Yanfly, for coming out with this masterpiece. That's what this plugin is. It's a masterpiece. Now, I will say, compatibility-wise, there are still some things that do not work 100% with ABS, Phoenix Kagedisu's Alpha ABS system. So when I'm combining Yanfly's grid-free Doodads and Phoenix Kagedisu's Alpha ABS system, we're supposed to be able to move the map around. Now, obviously I can't do it on this one because it's a small map, but I've tried it on other maps too, like on the intro scene. I think we can just exit out of this, and I can illustrate better if we just go here. I do have an auto run event, so I'm going to turn this off for right now, just so that I can illustrate what I'm talking about. So the problem with it here is, on this larger map, I think we're supposed to be able to press WASD, or the up, down, yeah, WASD. It's supposed to be able to move the camera around, but it doesn't do that. And I have a feeling it's related to the battle system that I have, and that changes a lot of the way the move speed works and the way the character moves around. So there's still some things that don't work exactly perfectly, but everything else seems to be working good enough, right? If I want to like add something, I can. Let's just go through this. If I wanted to put like a capacitor right here or something, you know, I could do that. You can change the layers and everything. And then, at first, it didn't work for me. And I was thinking, like I had already expected, it wasn't going to work. So here's a trick that I used. If you're doing this, I don't know how likely it is that you're into the same plugins that I'm into right now, but if you're using Phoenix Kagedisu's Alpha ABS system, but you also want to use Yanfly's new grid-free Doodads, you may have some plugins similar to what the ones I have here. And where I put this plugin was right around in this area. It looks like it was exactly where it needed to be if you follow Yanfly's tutorials. But then we had all these other ones. So I was getting some conflicting issues with the location of the plugin. So I tried moving it around. I put it in the middle here, I moved it down some more, and I finally put it at the bottom. So we put this grid-free Doodads right at the bottom, and now it works. So that's really good. If that's a tip I can give you, if you're using these systems, you can just move the plugin all the way to the bottom, and it'll take precedence over whatever else was taking up. It's not the way that Yanfly designs his plugins. It's hard for his plugins to overwrite other functions, or unless the plugins are using Yanfly's like verbatim aliases, and if they're doing that, then they're doing it on purpose. It'll be evident at that point. So they're really compatible, which is awesome, because this makes this project a lot more fun for me. Let's see who's in the chat. Anybody here? What's up, man? Urban McClure Zarsla says, awesome tutorial. I set the maps to the screen size too. Yeah, a lot of games do that. Legend of Zelda, the Guardian Legend for Nintendo. Mapping isn't easy for you either, Irvin. Yeah, it's a challenge. Everybody has their strengths, and mapping has always been a weak point for me. And I'm getting better though, and I can say that now. I've put a lot of time into this project. Mapping tends to suck for me, says Zarsla, between using screen size maps and grid-free Doodads to make some good maps with the default stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm basically doing the same thing. Thanks for showing up to the live stream. So we're going to go through the project now and just see kind of what I've done with it. It's, like I said, it's just started, I don't know, less than 2 weeks ago. So let's put this back to an auto run and just run the game. And I don't have any music or, any music for the game right now, but there's, of course, going to be. So at the beginning, you get to name the captain of the medical research shuttle because you're flying on a shuttle. So this isn't like totally fantasy based. It's going to have like fantasy settings, but it's also initially set up as like, I don't know, science fiction. I guess it would be science fiction because you start off as the captain of a medical research shuttle. And let's just name our captain here. And you're basically you're on like an exploration mission where you're looking for artifacts, or you're looking for something. In this case, I've called it the Crystallis, which is like the thing we're looking for. We've been sent out to do research, and there's another survey team, another shuttle, which you'll see later on. So Dr. Wong says, Captain, we've located the Crystallis, and we've found what we're looking for after all this time. He says the Crystallis is on this outer planet. Little is known about this planet. It's not high on the list for the survey team. So basically the survey team's on the other side of the solar system surveying those planets. So they haven't scanned and like documented what's on the planet. So this is an unknown planet that we're orbiting at this point. So we don't know much about it. So the protocol would be for this ship to report back to headquarters and get the equipment we need so that we can beam up back to the ship, because this isn't like a survey ship. This is our medical research ship. So we're supposed to do scans like we did. We found it, and it's not equipped with what it needs to, like, beam things from the planet to the ship. But it does have the means to beam from the ship to a planet. So the lead scientist here is saying, let's go back and report, and we'll get a permit so that we can come back. But the lead character knows that if we go report this, that they're going to send the survey team to it, or they're going to send another team to it. So I'll just read through the dialogue. So the captain says, "Beam me down, Dr. Wong." And the lead scientist, Dr. Wong, is like, that's not a good idea. And he says, you know as well as I do, if I beam you down here, there's no way for you to recall back up to the ship. This medical research vessel, it doesn't have that kind of equipment. And so the lead character is saying, I understand the risk of this mission, but I need you to take over as captain and deliver our findings to headquarters. And Dr. Wong is kind of like, that's probably not a great idea. And the lead character is saying, look, you know much more than I do about star charts, and you're more than capable of delivering this. I don't have to be on the ship for you to handle the paperwork. And so the lead character is saying, can you do this for me? And I want to be here when the survey team comes for this artifact, because more story, which will be revealed in the future, is a lot of the times, this exact ship, the lead character and Dr. Wong has been involved with a lot of discoveries that they're not getting credit for. They haven't been credited for all of the discoveries that they actually have found, because by the time they go back and report, they send another thing, another ship, and then the prestige and all the things that go along with the artifacts that are found are going to somebody at the headquarters who haven't really created that character yet. But somebody else is taking credit for this medical research's work. So the lead character is sick of it. He's not going to have it anymore. He's gonna go down there and foresee. He's gonna like basically stay there. So when the team comes, he's gonna stake his claim and say, "Look, we've been flying around on the shuttle for so long. We need to upgrade to a frigate or a cruiser, or even something bigger, because this is a monumental discovery." What's up, David Phillips? Nice to see you, man. And so we basically the team wants recognition. So I'll go back into the dialogue. You know much more than I do about star charts. You're more than capable. We already did that. And the lead scientist, Dr. Wong, is saying, yeah, but we lack vital information about this planet. What if there's hostages? The lead scientist here is saying, look, there's so many parameters that we don't know about. This is a bad idea. You shouldn't just beam yourself down there, because it's basically not going to be a safe move. And he's kind of trying to talk, the lead character out of this. But the lead character is kind of dead set on this, that it's our time to get credit for something. So he's saying, we lack vital information about this planet. What if there's hostiles? The atmosphere is barely breathable. It looks mostly like a desert planet. There's too many things we don't know. There's too many parameters that are unknown. So this is a bad idea. And so he's kind of obligated to give his professional opinion. And he says, my professional opinion is that we return to headquarters and relay the information about our findings as protocol, as we normally do. And the problem with that, like I stated before, if we return to headquarters with this information, they're going to send a task force, and we're probably going to be sent on some other mundane task on the other side of the solar system, and then we're going to lose our credit for actually making this discovery. You know, we're doing our research, we want to get credit for our work. And so the lead character is like, "This is our discovery. I'm gonna go look after our discovery until you've returned with a way to beam me back up to a ship or another team shows up." So the lead character is like, "I trust you with my life, Dr. Wong. These guys have flown around for a while, and you know they've made a lot of discoveries as a team here." And you know, I guess the character has a positive attitude about this, like it's gonna work out. You know, it's gonna work this time. It's gonna be okay. And you know, Dr. Wong is saying this is a terrible idea, but I'll head straight for headquarters and deliver this information, as well as procure a beam relocator, which is the item we need to equip to the ship to pull any piece of matter from a planet to the ship once it's been pinpointed. And so the lead character is saying, "Excellent, you've always been a true friend, Dr. Wong. I'll see you soon, and don't worry, I'll be fine." So, you know, the lead scientist is like, I guess. And then, so the lead character is heading off to beam down to the ship. This is all auto-run event. And so Dr. Wong's like, "Are you sure about this?" And the lead character is like, "Absolutely. We're going to get credit for this discovery, and we're going to upgrade from this shuttle to a cruiser," which is sort of like, you know, unlikely. He's probably going to go from a shuttle to like a frigate or something, you know. If you don't know your spaceship, like sizes and stuff, it doesn't matter. You get the point, right? So Dr. Wong's like, "I wish you the best of luck, Drift. Thanks for doing this." He codes the he handles it all. And down the lead character goes. And that's just a move event with a scrolling parallax in the background. So you get beamed down to where we found it, and then you get like the little intro scene, right? This time has come, you've been chosen. So now you get to select your path. This is going to be based on... did the video freeze, Irvin? Let me know about audio quality. Let me know about video quality, because I'm still getting used to YouTube's live streaming. I've got my bitrate at 3,000. I usually record my videos at 6,000 bitrate for a higher quality, but I know for live streaming it's better to have a lower bitrate. That way people with slower internet speeds can actually watch it without a lot of speeds. So I've dropped my bitrate for live streams just to 3,000. If it's still an issue, I could drop it lower, but I'll have to do it on the next live stream. So just let me know. I see you guys typing here. What's up, Wayne? It's nice to see you, man. So we get to choose our class. Right now, most of the classes are built up to about level... actually, half of them are built up to level 7. And then the other half are built up to level 11 and 12. And I think there's one skill at level 14. But I basically want to make a skill for every level, so the player has a lot of skills to choose from, because you're only going to be able to have, at the most, 8 skills on your active bar at a time. And you can't switch your skills in combat, but the combat system's really interesting. And it still needs some more tweaks and changes, but if you haven't seen Alpha ABS, let me see. Zarsla, it freezes for you. Let me see here. I mean, I have a 30 megabit per second upload and 300 megabit per second download. So there's got to be a YouTube live streaming issue. I might do this next time on Twitch if this continues to be a problem. We'll see how the final recording goes. Anyway, so I guess we're just going to pick the Sorcerer, which is one of the newest classes. So you're beamed down, but you're still building your character. So you get these flash of animations to show that you're being imbued with this power or whatever. So you can always return here for healing. And I've got buttons to speed up the game and, like, you know, gain experience. But I'm just going to play this without any, like, cheat buttons that I've built. So at the beginning, you walk on the first map. That's an ABS map, and you get the option, or you get the auto run event that gives the character, the player, an idea of how to even enter combat. So it's unlike most RPG Maker games. There's hardly any games that have this sort of system. I've only seen a handful of VX games that do something like this. And this is the first system besides Quasi's ABS system that does something like this. So it's still going to be relatively new. So I want to inform the players that you press tab to target and you press A to enter attack mode. Also remind the player that they can save anywhere. That way, you know, if they die, they don't get too far back, also let the player know some general things, like you're going to gain skills as you level up, depending on the class you pick. So you're going to get different skills from the different class, of course, and then good luck, have fun. And then this tutorial thing is going to be expanded upon. But basically, what's cool is Yanfly's common event menu is working. It works fine. So that's awesome. The whole level up thing that I don't know if you watched it in my other ABS tutorial things. I'll put that whole playlist in the card so you guys can click that later on. Basically, I had like a show choices thing, and it wasn't working because the stop map movement plugin isn't compatible. It doesn't really work. I mean, it's compatible, but it doesn't do what I want it to do with this system. Fortunately, the common events menu works fine. So I've got a little description for each of the stats. When you level up, you're going to get a stat point, and you can allocate that wherever you want. And also, the player gets a description of what each stat does, so they have an idea if they're not sure. I mean, most of these stats will probably be renamed before I actually release something for this. Like I said, I just sort of kind of decided I'm going to turn this into a game, not just a tutorial project. So I guess that's the point of this live stream, like the announcement of a new project. But I mean, there's ideas are cheap, right? A lot of people have ideas. It's about execution. So this is going to be like, how am I executing these ideas? So we're using this common event menu to inform the player that what the stats do. Also show options of what you can pick. Right now, we don't have any stat points. We're level 1. We don't even have any skills. When we get our skills, we're going to be able to assign them on this bar right here. All right, so let's tab it. Press tab to get him. You see the red circle around the ooze. We press A, we enter combat mode. Now, the sorcerer is extremely weak for melee. So level 1 is probably going to be the hardest time. There are some other classes like the warrior and the ronin that makes it pretty easy at the beginning, but certain classes will be hard at the beginning. So if you pick one of the casters, you might have to go back to the Crystallis and restore your HP a couple times until you get that first level. Once you get your first spell, you're going to be pretty much set. So we'll just grind it out, kill a few enemies. I'm thinking about making the first, like, awarding some experience at the beginning, just so that you kill a couple enemies and you get a level up and you won't have to go back. But I don't know if I will, because I think a little bit of grind in the game is good if it's still a new, fun type of thing. And this is going to be like your introduction type thing. So it's going to start off by, like, I don't know if I'll be able to beat him. Yeah, I'm going to die in one more hit. So, we can't, yeah. So picking the sorcerers at the beginning is going to be really challenging. That's why I kind of wanted to award some experience, but I did notice one other thing I wanted to fix. For the sorcerer class, I didn't award tech, and I wanted to do that. So we're going to add a skill type of tech. So all the classes are going to have both magic and tech, which is just a renamed special. So we'll just drift it. Yeah, Irvin, it should be fine if you want to watch it later. That's cool. So we got that opening scene. I just showed it, so kind of fast forward this time. Our beam down. I kind of got the idea for that from Starbound. Any of you guys play Starbound? It was an awesome game. Let's go ahead and I kind of want to stay with the sorcerer, even though it's challenging. All right. So basically, you have to kill a few things. We'll do one at a time. We'll kill one. And the reason why I kind of run from him is because the slime has a faster attack speed than the slow cane. So if I were to stand there, he would get off more hits than me. So let's see what happens if I just stand there. You can see that he's going to be hitting faster than the speed. Oh, I got a critical there, so that makes this one a little bit easier. But it would be hard to kill these slimes at level 1 as a sorcerer. But you can see the map design. The map's only as big as the screen, with half a pixel on the X value. Half a pixel, or not half a pixel, half a tile of free space on the X value. Let's not die here. All right. So when you level up, you get informed that you get a skill point and a stat point. Now, skill points are going to be something that I implement later on. I haven't actually made that system yet, but the stat point system is already made. So you can press L to open up the level up menu. How you loot is you just walk over him and hit the action button. So now we've leveled up, we've got our first skill. It's going to be a whole different game now that we've got an ability that we can use to kill things. Let's press 1. And it makes it so much easier, because this character's got a lot of magic attack power. So I can kill things a lot easier now. But let's press L, and we enter our common event menu, which lets us, we've got 1 stat point we can see right there. So let's just increase our max HP, because that's where the sorcerer's weak point is. It's got low attack power, it's got low defense, and the class also has very low HP. So high magic attack power. It's a glass cannon, you know, it's a glass cannon. It's got a lot of kill potential. Once it levels up, you can just destroy stuff, but it's kind of hard at the very beginning, like most games are with the wizard class. If you're an old school RPG player, then you probably played a lot of games where it's easier to be the warrior at the beginning. So if you want to have like more of like a steady challenge throughout the game, you'd be like the fighter class. But if you want to have like a curve of power where you're weaker at the beginning, but towards the end of the game, when you've got all your spells, you've leveled up, you got some gear, then, you know, the wizard can just destroy a warrior on most of the end-game stuff for many RPGs. So we walk outside, and we see that we've got a tent color change. So we see that we're on this desert, but it's storming on a desert. It's really odd. So we're also introduced to a new enemy here. We've got a level 2 orc. And I also went with Yanfly's, what is it called? The where you can see the names above them. I forgot what it's called. Something tag. It's bothering me now that I don't know that. It's just so many plugins to remember. Mini event label, event mini label, something like that. But that lets me put any sort of any dialogue or text I want above the events. I think it's called event mini label. So I can put the level of the enemy above them so that I can see the challenge without actually engaging them. Let me catch up. What'd you guys say in here? Hey Cyber, how are you doing, my friend? What about making a tutorial for the beginning and leveling them up as a reward? Was searching fine on my mobile. Now on the desktop, it seems to be streaming fine for me on both platforms. Good to know, Maximilian. Yeah, I'm not the only one who uses Yanfly's common events to give stats, though I use XP. Yeah, for XP and VXAs, I used a lot of Galv's plugins. I used Yanfly's plugins as well. Not only Galv, but I think I used a large variety of different plugins. Or actually, there were scripts, you know, they were in Ruby. And I don't know too much Ruby. I only know enough to change parameters. Like, when I see the numbers, I would edit the scripts because I knew what values were, what was being used in the game and the values I wanted to be changed. So I never wrote anything or learned any Ruby, but I did look through a lot of scripts and change them by copy pasting stuff, you know. So you can see the map design. It's pretty interesting. It reminds me a lot of a game called The Realm Online, old school game. It was like one of the first MUDs that used this sort of like all the maps where you walk your character across the screen. The camera didn't follow you at all. The camera would only change when you changed screen. You know, when you went to a different map. So I'm kind of going with that. Reminiscent of the Legend of Zelda, except for the scrolling thing. You know, Legend of Zelda had like a little thing where you get to the edge of the map, and then it would scroll the screen like from right to left. Like it would have like a movement thing, which looked really cool. And hopefully I'll figure how to do something like that, because all of my move events are all in one. They're all in the same. I put it in the top left. It's a parallel process that basically I learned it from William the Unpro Pro. It's a really simple thing. You just make a parallel process that checks the location of the character on the map. So whenever you, of course, you have to get some data first. You have to figure out the size of your map. But because all of my maps are the same size, I can copy paste this and just change where it's being teleported to, and that makes it really easy. There's some use for this, but we shouldn't mess with it now. So I'm just going to go through some of the maps. We have a cave here. I do want to level up some more. I should probably tell you about some of the spells I'm using. So the first spell we get is a lightning bolt. It's just called Bolt, and it does lightning damage, even though it has like it's like a double animation. I just custom built that one where I did the lightning bolt and then we put fire at the end of it. Getting trolled by this bat here. The second one is called Ignite, and I've put a tutorial for this. If you've watched my Alpha ABS tutorial series or you're following that, then you've already seen how to do that. And it's an instant cast, and it does fire damage initially, and it does the damage over time, like a poison type effect. I want to make, I'm probably going to have to do it in a plugin. So probably the next plugin that I make is going to be some sort of way to do damage over time, because right now I don't like how the only way to say how strong a damage over time is based on the maximum HP, right? So you have to do like a negative regeneration effect, and I mean that's useful for some DOTs, but I want the DOT strength to be based on my spell power, you know, aka my magic attack power, not so much the max HP. So if I use this spell on a boss or something, I either have to make him completely immune to it, or I have to let it do a ton of damage over time because it's working off a percentage. I'm probably gonna die if I don't pay attention. So I have my fourth skill is a meditation. So it's a long casting spell, not made to be used in combat really, and it just restores MP at the cost of TP. And as a sorcerer, you don't need a lot of the TP, so you use that TP to get your MP back. This skeleton is creeping on me. Before I get engaged, I'm going to go into my items menu, and it's really cool. I could just click on a slot, and this is highlighted. I could put it wherever I want on my hotbar. Alternatively, I could just press buttons, like if I press 5, I take it off, put it on. I could press 6 to move it, you know, and you've got 1 through 8. Hopefully later on, Phoenix Kagedisu makes like a scroll bar where you can press up and down and have like maybe 2 sets of 8 or something. He's working on a lot. And I see lots of people requesting on that thread. Let's just heal up really quick. So he's swamped with things and ideas to improve the system. So before I start spamming a bunch of requests, I'm gonna let that simmer down and let him catch up on some of the requests, because people are interested in this, and there's been a ton of positive feedback about this plugin. And I could say for myself that this is definitely something new. This is a good system. It has some flaws and some compatibility issues, but I really love Phoenix Kagedisu's Alpha ABS system right now. Another error, we see how we have this light right here. For some reason, every now and then, we'll get a Terax lighting compatibility issue with it. that keeps a light going even though there's clearly nothing there. You know, this is the skeleton's light. Oh, he's gonna kill me. Back. Oh, we just got our level up, so I'll show you this skill. I do notice something too. I want to come up with a way to preload all the animations at the beginning, because the first time you use your spells, just the first time only, it'll lag as it's loading the resources into memory. But once the resources have been loaded into memory, it doesn't lag at all anymore. So now if I press like lightning bolt, it's not going to lag, it's going to go completely smooth. Ignite, completely smooth, firebolt. But the first time you cast it, you know, per game, it's gonna have to load those resources, those art assets, those animations, the PNGs. So it takes a split second of lag the first time. So when I used this spell the first time, it took a while. It lagged, right? But this time it won't lag anymore. So we can target him, and the skill happens automatically. He'll kill me in one more hit if I'm not careful. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. So as a sorcerer, I don't have a lot of HP. I don't have a lot of a durability. So we'll just go ahead and put 5 on defense just so we don't get mollywopped. Keep focusing on our strength. Our magic attack power is our way to kill. More HP, more defense. That seems like a good idea. Yeah, we don't have any more stat points. That's good. All right. Also, one thing I noticed with Yanfly's grid-free doodads, it's very, very minor. But when you go from one map to another map, the loading time in between those maps is increased by a split second, like less than a second, but it adds more to the loading time. And I noticed this because I was testing it before I had the plugin activated, and after I started using it, I noticed a little bit of lag in between map changes, and also pressing escape going back to the map. You see that? That's because of the doodads. The doodads causes that. Watch though. I'll press escape. You can probably hear it. I'll do it loud. Do you see the lag there? That's the doodads lagging the map right there. If I disable that, it doesn't do that. So that's one downside. It could be just compatibility, like I said. But I mean, the plugin is amazing, and I'm not talking down on it at all. But I feel like I have an obligation to point out things I notice and flaws in anybody's plugin. Even my own. So you can see that light source right there. It stays, is persistent throughout the maps. So that's something to do with Tarax lighting. This isn't Yanfly's thing. This is between the ABS system, this lighting that I'm looking at right here. I'm pointing at my screen like you guys can see that. This right here is either a Tarax lighting bug, an alpha ABS bug, or a compatibility bug in between the two. So back into the game here, the storyline, you're going to come across this cave. You enter the cave, and then you come into this area, and you can see on this map it looks very primitive, you know, and it's just like desert, and it looks like more of a fantasy setting. But you're going to come across this one map that says you see many strange devices that have been collecting dust for what appears for a long time. But there's also a strange glowing pile of rocks near these devices. So you come up here. It's also heavily guarded. So you'll have to be a certain level before you're able to actually clear these enemies. But this is bad. Okay, we actually are strong enough to kill these before they cause too much trouble, because we spent our points on HP, which is not a bad idea. But you also see that we have the science symbol here, which is, I don't know if you noticed that on the ship we have the same asset, right? The same art asset. But we see this equipment here, and we also come across these strange glowing rocks, and they're going to be part of the story later on. You can leave them there, but you should take them. It's going to get rid of the light on the map, and you're going to obtain radiated rocks. And you could even equip these radiated rocks, but it's not recommended, because if you do, it's going to basically drain all of your, I said it as a relic. It's going to take 5 from all your stats. You're going to have a negative regen, refresh, and regain. That's HP and PTP while you're wearing it. So it doesn't appear that it's helping too much in its current form, but you're going to use this item later on in the game to create something that basically reverses these stats. So it's going to give +5 to all stats and +1% regeneration to all of these. So you're going to find a way to purify this, and then it's going to be a really good item, right? 1% regen, refresh, regain, and +5 to all stat. That's going to be a really good upgrade later on. But right now, at the beginning of the game, it's just an item that seems sort of like you wouldn't want to equip it. And it would be too powerful to award it at this point. That's why I went with that. Also, it could be part of the storyline related. We could make it so that you need it to like... oh. Don't want to die. I'll just drink a potion. We could also make it so that... I was wondering why I couldn't cast my spells, but it's because I'm out of MP. But that's why I awarded the player with the meditation, so that they can turn their TP into MP and, you know, not have to run back to the Crystallis or use potions or something. Let me catch up what I missed. What's up, Samuel? How are you doing, my friend? So you're using, Zarsla says they have levels, but they're gained at certain times or just bought with experience, because I also want to use experience to buy everything. Oh, so that's interesting. So you're using like the player's experience as the currency. So in order to buy your weapons and armors and stuff. What about for skills? Are you using experience to buy skills as well, or are you using like job points or something for that? I'm curious. The plugins in your current project are Yanfly, Hemeworks, Some Random Dude, Victor Engine, and use a few of your... Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Good. All of those are good plugin authors. Can you preload the animations off screen with an event? Absolutely, Maximilian, and that's probably the way that I'm going to do it. The problem with that is I'll have to have a certain I'll have to like it's gonna be kind of odd, right? If you hear a bunch of animations and stuff playing for no reason. So I just have to like make some reason and like hide those animations or something at the beginning of the game. I'm sure I could do it with a cutscene. It's actually a really good idea. Like just do some sort of event that happens at the beginning that plays all of the animations that are going to be used for all the skills. But the problem with that is kind of like cataloging. Okay, all of these certain animations are going to be used. This is a bad position right here. So all of the enemies have like a radius, and you could you can decide how far they can chase you with the plugin with the commands that you put on the skills themselves. What was I saying? Something about cataloging. You basically, the problem with that idea is you have to like catalog all of the skills that you have, and then play all of those skill animations. Like you have to see what skills are going to be awarded, basically all of them on the list most likely, and then what animations are being used on those skills, and then play all of those animations at the beginning. And it's going to cause lag, right? It's going to cause lag. And if you play all of those animations for the first time, it's going to do a big lag spike. And if you do all of them at the beginning, well, it's going to seem like the program's not responding. That's not a good first impression, right? You load the game and it just completely lags for about like a minute or 2 minutes. So that's why I'd have to like hide them through a series of events, storyline, where it would play 5 of them here, 5 of them here, but that would also cause lag. So I kind of seem like I want to just preload them into I want to preload all the animations without actually playing those animations. You know, like just preload them in the code. So that's why I was talking about doing a plugin for it, just so that they're loaded but they're not shown. Because when you show them, they're going to cause lag, even if they're off screen. With the way that I think the plugin would work is on execution of the project, when you load the game, then you know how it takes a second and then it resizes the window. At that point, when it loads before it resizes or right after it resizes. All of the assets are going to be loaded right there without having to be played and masked in an event. This map is an example of Yanfly's grid-free doodads, because you wouldn't be able to do... Oh, shoot. You wouldn't be able to, like, make the bushes appear like this, you know, without actually parallax mapping that in Photoshop or something. Which is really neat, because it makes it look so different. It doesn't look the same as all of the other maps. But, of course, I'm not going to make every map with doodads. I'm going to have some maps that are... a lot of doodads, some maps no doodads, some maps just some doodads. I'm also going to release a tutorial pretty soon that shows how I made the art for this dragon. This is actually a recolored with filters. I'll go over here and show you some more of the... So this is just a piece of art that came with Phoenix Kagedisu's project. So this dragon is actually credited to him. I only edited it to make it look different for my game. But I want to show you guys a way to make your own character sprites. Because what's the problem with the ABS? The problem with the ABS is you're limited. You don't have to make you don't actually have to make battlers, right? So that's a plus. But you still have to now, instead of making battlers, you have to make character sheets, which can be harder than making just a piece of art for a static image that you can use like Mog Hunter's plugins to make it move around and stuff, or Yanfly's animated SV enemies to make it move and float and stuff. So you encounter this other problem of now I have to make whole sprite sheets for my enemies, because I'm limited to however many enemies I have based on the sprites that I have. So I want to show you guys a way that you can use the sprites that you're already given in the default project to turn those into 10 different kinds of sprites. Like, they're still going to have a general same look, but it's basically like, you know how in like a lot of Final Fantasy games and a lot of games in general, you'll see like the same sprite of an enemy, but it has a different skin. And they use it like at the beginning, you'll fight this turtle or something, and then like in the middle of the game, you see that sprite again, but it looks different. It's got a different skin. So I want to show you guys an easy way to do that, and I'll probably put that into like a 10-minute tutorial or something. Oh, they are sneaking up on me here. Wrong button. So we're just grinding up here. This is actually a good spot to grind for the sorcerer because he's got 2 fire spells, and these moss drakes are weak to fire. Let's just pull him in. We'll start with actually we'll start with that. Is he stuck down there? No, he just randomly moved that way. Boom. And we got our level. So we're at level 7 now, or 8. Let's go ahead and add some more HP and probably some more defense so we don't just get killed really fast. Let's kill a couple more here and we'll move on. I want to show you guys some of the other maps too. So when you beam down to the Crystallis, you basically... I'm going to put some more storyline in there because I want to give the player an objective, and right now you're basically just, your objective is to wait for, you know, for them to come back and for the survey team to come. So there's going to be more storyline, and the general idea is survive. You know, you have to survive until the research team comes back for you. Oh, this is a cool item, this Wicked Tonic. Let's go ahead and equip that to... We'll get rid of that Enhanced Magic one for right now. Currently, wait, there's a level 7. So I was going to say that these are the strongest enemies right now in the game, but I just created another one that's level 7. So right now, this is probably the most difficult map with the 5 level 6 enemies on it. Let's go ahead and drink this tonic. That's going to give me like a haste effect. But the haste, it makes you move faster, but it doesn't affect your cast speed. It only affects your attack speed. So as a caster, it's good for as a caster as well because you can move around and escape the enemies faster. And as a melee, you get to attack faster. You're not going to be running from it as much, but you'll be able to attack faster. So this, the Wicked Tonic is like a nice little haste effect that doesn't last too long. I see a little error here. I don't know how he got in there, but I'm going to have to figure that out and fix that. That's a bug. How did they... Oh, I see. Okay. Let's fix that. Let's fix that right now. That's the part, another part of playtesting your own games. Be your own beta tester. Play your games a lot. To the point where you're sick of them. Because you're going to see what makes you sick of them and what doesn't work. And if you play it a lot, you're going to find those bugs. And I've already play tested just every time I add a new map, I play test and run through it. And that's why this new battle system's keeping it fresh for me. So let's look at that area. Which one was it? So there's a lot of maps I didn't show you guys there. But I think what we're going to do here is look at region events. Let's go to the region area. Ah, I see. So what had happened is I copy pasted this map and then I recolored it. I remade it. But the map that I copy pasted it from, which is the one right above it. So this is 0, 4. So this is 0, 3 would be above it. You see right here, I put these cracks. I put these cracks in the ground. And normally you wouldn't be able to walk over these cracks. So I'm using Ganfly's region restriction to like make it so that we could walk over them. And I copied this, and then I pasted it to make this map, and then I recolored it and redid it and put the events. But I forgot to fix that. So let's go ahead and right click and then just erase those. And then we won't have that problem anymore. Hopefully. But I need to test it. I'm absolutely going to test that. We're probably going to die, but I know a way to get around it. So what I'm going to do is just level up. That's going to give me full health again. They trapped me. I can't even test it. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. That'll work. Zarsla says all of the skills are bought with experience. That's the easiest way to set it up. The hardest was leveling and getting the shops just right. Yeah, that's an interesting system. All right, so now it works. Yeah, if you're wondering how I made that happen, a lot of you probably already know, but I'm using region restrictions here. So I just set the number 85, which is this red box, to where I want it so that nothing can walk. And then 77, which means no matter what art is on the ground or what object is on the ground, you'll be able to walk over it. And that's all configurable. You just pick a number or whatever one you want. I'm just using green and red because it's easy to remember the colors. Green, you can go. Red, you have to stop. You can't go. Let's move these guys back. So eventually what I want this to be is like, this is going to be like a temple. So you're going to arrive on this planet, and I'll probably have some sort of, some more storyline that leads to, like where you have to, like you're poisoned or something. I haven't quite figured it out, so you could tell. Probably something like where the atmosphere is poisonous, and you're looking for some way to like make some sort of some oxygen mask or something, or a way to survive. I kind of want to show you some of these other maps that I didn't get to show you in the playthrough. We got a little poison area. If you walk over here, you take damage if you walk over the poison. Let's see if I can get him out of range from right here. I think he'll run back. I think, yeah, we got it just right. What's up, Yasuo? I'm doing well. How are you, my friend? So you can't change maps while you're in battle. So you have to like run out of range. Oh, come on, guy. Come on, guy. Come on, guy. Maybe I should drop the radius that the orcs can engage. Okay, I see. So he hit me down there. So that leads me to believe in this system, if they hit you, then they have whatever number of their ranges from that point on. So to get out of their range, you have to avoid being hit, and then pull the distance, their max distance that it's put in the note tags. So this is a cool map. This is made with grid-free doodads, obviously, and I like that you can export the regions into the grid-free doodads. So if I press F10 using Yanfly's grid-free doodads, I can tog in region overlay, and you can see that I'm using that 85 number to say that the player can't walk on these maps. Now, I did this backwards the first time. I placed a bunch of doodads on the map, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to put the regions where I put the doodads. That's the wrong way to do it. Because when you exit the game and you look at the map, let me show you a map that's got a bunch of grid-free doodads. It's made entirely on grid-free doodads. Right here is one. You don't see any of the map. So you don't really know where the doodads are at. So you can't put the regions exactly right. So it took a long time to get that one cactus town set up right. Or a cactus map. It was either that one or a different one that's very similar. Because I didn't know where I put like the obstructions. So what you want to do is basically when you're making your grid-free doodad maps, you want to set your region restrictions first. Like you want to say, okay, I want it to be like the player's sort of blocked off right here. So you just draw like even though there's nothing on the map, you're just going to draw the collision first. And then when you get in the game, so you've got your collisions down first. And with a blank map, no doodads. And then when you get in the game, you can press F10, toggle region overlay, and then you can draw the doodads on top of where the collision's at. So if you do it in that order, then it works perfectly. If you do it in the opposite order, you're going to give yourself a headache. Yeah. Yasuo says I'm fine. Had this question I posted on the ABS forum. Basically, when I kill an enemy, Terek's lighting goes off, but when the enemy revives, the light turns back on where the enemy died. Any thoughts? It might be that same bug that I was talking about earlier, where the light, it's some bug with Terax or the ABS that it keeps the light on in that area even though there's no enemy anymore. So it's just a bug. I think that's what you're referring to. I'm going to just go up to the point where that dungeon's at and see if it'll do it again. It doesn't always do it, though. Like, sometimes it bugs out and sometimes it doesn't. That's going to aggro, yeah. I think we'll pull him out of range here. Don't hit me, bro. All right, we're good. And I think is it below here? Ah, damn it. I could just make like a god mode and just slay everything. Ah. All right. Had enough of you, orc. New plan. Yeah, that's the one. You're right. So I don't know what to do about it. I was pointing that out earlier. I don't know if you probably were on the stream, but the skeleton, for some reason, when I killed him, he put off a light, and even though he respawned and I killed him again, the same light stayed there, and I don't really know what to do about it. What's up, Joshua? This game is looking better by the day. It started with reminding me of a dungeon crawler stone soup. Now there's a 2D Zelda vibe. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, I don't know if you saw it, but like I wasn't planning on making this like a game. I was doing like a little tutorial series where I'd do a few maps and show some skills. But like the more I invested time into this project, the more fun I was having with it. And it's turning into a game that is interesting. It's different from any game that I've made. And like it's made me put Dungeons Adrift on the back burner. Yeah, here's where I have the auto run where the storm sound effects plays and everything. So that's why it kind of started raining when I went to this map, because you would have to come through this map if you went through the storyline. You know, you would actually come from here. You could toggle the lights if I wanted to. That's a pretty tricky spot. Like, what I've been trying to do is walk around the map and find where their traps are at and try to eliminate as many traps as possible. Because I don't want the player, since you have to like go from map to map to map, I don't want the player to be forced into a trap, even when they're expecting it. So I think what we'll do now is fix that little trap that's designed right there. So on that map, this is the poison zone, this one. So you get teleported, so that's -1, 2, so -1, 1 is the one it's being teleported to. So I'll show you guys the event that I'm using. I got this idea from William the Unpro Pro, and it's basically like whenever the player gets to the end of the map, like here's the condition, it's a condition saying if player X is 0, and we're doing control variables at the beginning, which is set to the game data. So we're saying we've made a variable that says player X, doesn't matter what you call it really. If you set this one to the game data of map X of the player, you just go to character player map X, and then you set another variable for the Y of the player. And it's going to take these numbers into consideration. I can't put my mouse over it because my friggin' hotbar comes up, but you can see 0, 0, but it's using 27 by 15. But it starts with 0. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it'll go up to 26. So there's 27 tiles. This is where it throws some people off, because 0 is actually the first tile, because you have 0, then 1, 2, so you subtract 1. So if the X is 0, meaning if you're on, let me see, this is X and this is Y. So if you're right here, anywhere on any of these tiles, then it's going to do a transfer event, moving you to the other map. Or this is right. So if you're on this one, if X is 26, even though it says 27, right? Because 0 is 1, so it goes into the whole -1 thing. I know. So we go to the right. If we're anywhere on 26, it's going to transfer to the next map. So that makes it so much easier. So I don't have to like make a transfer event right here and go like, oh, okay, we'll make this event touch and then transfer player. And then find the map and then put it right there, and then basically do that and then copy, paste, 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 and that gets like very convoluted and not the right way to do it. So using William the Unpro Pro's idea of like just making a condition that checks for the location of the player on the map and then teleporting the player based on their location makes it really easy, especially when all the map sizes are the same. So they're all going to be the same. So if I made a new map, matter of fact, let's make a new map. So what I want to do is connect. Oh, first I need to fix this trap before I get too sidetracked. It's going to move me down here. What I can do is move the teleporter to over here and go like this. And like this. I wonder if these enemy events will take damage from the poison. I don't think so. I really don't think so. So we'll consolidate these in a little bit more. It's going to make it harder to tackle them all, but they're going to wander around randomly anyway, so shouldn't be a big deal. What I can do to fix that is change where the character is being teleported in. So if they're on 14, which is the 15th tile down, teleport to this. And we can change this location to maybe a little bit more this way. And so I've already fixed it, but I also moved these in. So that would be fine either way, but I just decided to do both. So let's make a new map. What makes it really easy to do the transfer events like this, because it's all the same map size. Where do I want to connect? But you can get yourself really confused when you're doing so many maps like this. So you probably saw all these numbers and you're like, what the hell is he doing? This is just a simple coordinate system. And I'm using this map, which is like when you leave the Crystallis cave, as 0, 0. So this is your center point of the map. Of course, a lot of the map's going to be cut off with a large mountain range that's going to go across. I did this just to minimize the workload and possible outcomes for the player to go, because you don't know which way the player's going to move, and you don't want them to like move a few maps and then hit the cap where there's no more maps on that point. And doing something like this is going to mean you have to build a lot of maps. But that's okay, because it's going to help me get better at it. And also, all the maps are going to be a very small size. So I can look at this as a lot of little things, not just a giant masterpiece I have to craft, and you can like find lots of flaws on a big thing, but when you make a lot of small things, it makes it a lot easier to do. So I like this sort of design style right now. Zarsla says, Alpha ABS reminds me of Falcao ABS from VX Ace. I never seen that system. But I did see some games that had some ABS system, very few, but I've seen some. They might have been using that, and I just didn't know the name of what they were using. Samuel is saying he's working on a game that requires the ABS. Zarsla's asking if anybody's doing it, and some people are. So it's cool. You guys are checking out this ABS system too. That's awesome. I absolutely love it. Maximilian says, if you move from the map edge via x-axis, could you save your y coordinates and then place your actor on the same coordinate on the new map? I thought about that too. I might do that later on. And like I said, I wasn't planning on making this like a game, but now just like a couple days ago, I was like, I'm actually going to turn this into a game, not just a tutorial thing. So I might do something like that, Max. It's a great idea. That way, if you walk down from right here, you don't get teleported to the middle. So there's a difference from walking down from here and walking down from here. They don't both put you in the middle. I actually like that idea better. I wonder how we could do that. What if we just store... Because the way that I'm doing it, it's a simplistic system. You know, it checks if you're on the border, and then it moves you to one point. If you wanted to make this more complex, you would have to have a lot of events, really. You'd probably have a lot of conditions. You would have to do... At this point, if you wanted to do that, it would be easier to do a transfer event on each tile. It would be much easier to do that, probably. Because you'd have to redesign... You would spend so much time on the transfer events. Oh my god. But if you can think of from the way I'm thinking about doing it, if you can think of a way to make that transfer event like easy, please tell me about it. Because I would like to figure something out like that out. And then share it with other people too. So yeah, if you're doing something like this and you figure out a better way, let me know, and I'll give you credit for it. Yeah. So right now it's kind of simple. If you hit the border, you go to the next map, and you're teleported to one specific point. Ideally, I would like to do the way you're talking about, Max, so that if you walk from the top, if you walk down right here, you're gonna be right here, right? Instead of like. Whoop! Are we back? What happened? Yeah, OBS crashed. Are we live? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I heard dong, and then OBS crashed. I don't know. I've had so many computer issues lately. It's freaking crazy. Like, it's kind of weird. I got a Windows update. I'm using Windows 7 still. Didn't want to go to Windows 10 because there's some bug with webcams. If you're using Windows 10 and you're using a Logitech, what is it, the CT7 something, or I forgot, but it's a 1080p webcam, but it's using a codec that's not in Windows 10. So your webcam, one of the best and most used webcams, the Carl Zeiss webcam. Was it a Zeiss? What does it say? Yeah, Carl Zeiss Tessar 1080p HD webcam. That one, a lot of streamers use it. A lot of people use this, and it doesn't work really well with Windows 10. You have to find some workaround. Anyway, that's what I read. But I knew that stuff like that was going to happen, so I didn't take that free Windows 10 upgrade. Did you guys upgrade to Windows 10? Or if anybody is using older versions, I completely didn't want 8. I didn't like 8. I like Windows 7. But after Windows 10 started rolling out, and then they were doing like the mandatory updates, I noticed more and more stuff started breaking. My USB Wi-Fi receiver stopped working completely after a Windows update. It doesn't work to this day. My microphone now, I'm using a Blue Yeti Pro, and I'm using it through USB, but I also have the XLR connection if I want to run it XLR with I have an M audio audio controller, and I don't use it because I'm using straight USB, but I'll probably have to go XLR, because what happens if my computer goes into sleep mode, then my microphone goes into exclusive mode, and I don't know what is using it. I disabled exclusive mode in the options, in the settings for the mic, and it still does it. So I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of computer issues that I'm having, but just got to keep trying to figure stuff out. Anyway, I don't know where I was when we crashed, but I think we were going to build a new map. So let's do that now. Good way to go about it is to save some time. You can copy paste and then remake. So we've got X coordinates. Oh, I was talking about my coordinates. So a really simple system. Basically, this is 0, 0. And then as you go down, I'm using the same scheme that the program uses for X and Y coordinates. So if you add to the Y value, you're moving down. If you subtract, you're moving up. And if you add to the X value, you're moving right. And if you subtract to the X value, you're moving left. So I'm using those same coordinates. So X0, Y1 would be 1 down from 0, 0. So that's sort of how it works. And this is 1 more down, 1 more down, 1 more down. I want to make some sort of temple in here, but I'm going to do the surrounding area before I do the inside. So this is -1, 0, -1, 1, moving down. And do I have -1, 4 yet? Yes, I do. Okay, I've got all the way down to the wall. And then I started doing -2, 4, and I was going to work my way back up. So we'll probably do -2, 3. Let's go ahead and copy this, and then I'll paste it here for now. We're going to rename it first to the map I want it to be, -2, 3. Then I'm going to go here and change the way it looks so I don't confuse myself. I'm going to immediately erase everything, including the events. And now I'm going to edit the teleporter event. So if I'm moving right, I'm no longer going to -1, 4. I'm going to be going to -1, 3 at this point. And I need to double check to see if that's not going to cause a collision as well. And if I'm moving up, I'm no longer moving to the map I'm currently on, -2, 3. Oh wait, I already have -2, 3, don't I? I already have -2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to make this -2, 2, which means I don't have an up movement at this point. So we'll cut that. So if I'm moving right, I'm going to go to -1, 2. Boom. And moving down, we can paste here. We're going to move from -2, 2 to -2, 3. So it's going to move us to here. And I need to rename the map to what it should be. -2, 2. Hopefully that makes sense. And then we'll just deco a little bit. So I think we'll do half doodads, half. try to make it as random as possible and not focusing too much on any detail. If we have leaves, where's the logical point in there being leaves if there's no trees, right? And we're in a desert, so most of the trees and stuff are probably going to be dead trees. Bunch of bushes. Seems to be fine. I guess it's okay if some things overlap, but I don't want to create the same look in two spots really. So we'll kind of go like that. I also tend to make like a cluster of things. Like you'll notice it in some of the other maps. Like I put some trees here, so I'll usually like cluster some trees. That seems to be fine. Sometimes I'll like change the colors of the ground randomly as well. And before you know it, you've got a map. That's cool. Now what I want to do is add some regions. So we'll go to 85 and say, let's put some cacti, some cactus in here. Let's say we'll put some cactus there, some more cactus there. And then maybe a little cluster right here, another cluster of them. Yeah. So then we just make our starting point. We go in the game. And we do it in that order so we don't have to guess where the obstructions are. So we just toggle our region overlay. Let's place some doodads. I think it's under floor. No, it's not. It's probably under plants. Yeah, here we go. And we'll just like make a few right there. Just put one right there. And it's kind of cool making a cluster too, because you can make it like sort of random, right? Just like no real order to it, because it makes it look a little more unique, I think. So that's fine. And also we're paying attention to the layer too. So layer 5 is the character layer, so it makes sense that it would be a collision because it's on the same layer. If we were going to add like grass or like little, let's just go illustrate that. If I wanted to add like some more leaves or something, of course I already did that, but say I wanted to add some more just like randomly over here, I wouldn't put that on layer 5. I would press Q. And I drop it all the way down to layer 1 or layer 0. So that's going to be like the ground. So that all of these other things are going to like be drawn on top of it. So if I put it right here, it should go underneath it. Well, it didn't. But maybe because I didn't specify our layer. Like that tree was not on layer 5. It's just being drawn by default. So what I'll probably do is just remove that. So it's real easy to remove things too. You just go to edit doodads, you look at the layer, and we put lowest layer for those leaves. And so it'll highlight the one that it's on. So you can see that this is that one and that is this one. So we want to remove this one, so we'll click on that and we can just delete doodad. And then it's removed. You can also right click to go back. If you press escape right here, I've made this mistake a couple times too. If you press escape after adding all your doodads, it saves nothing. So you want to save and close on that one. And now we have our map, and we've already did our layers, our region restrictions. So now this cluster of trees, we can't just walk through. And we've got another map. Cool. And so, let's see. I kind of want to remove that one. Let me just do, this is a tile, and then that's a tile. So if I remove restrictions on that, it's going to let me walk into that cactus. So what I'm going to do is place another cactus down there. Let's place doodads. We'll just go to plants. Or what about I add something else? I kind of want to keep it in the desert theme though. And it is a cluster of cacti, so it makes the most sense to add cactus there. What if I just do that? And then save. And then I walk up. Yeah, now that looks a little better. Let's check the transport events. So we go there. Does it take us back to the same map? No, because we haven't made the changes to the map underneath that one. So we need to go to -2, 3, and then make the up one for this. So let's just, I think we already have it in the clipboard. So paste and change this to -2, 2. Yeah, and then put it somewhere right here. Also, this will be connected to a map to the right of it. So -1, 2. We need to edit this one and make a left one. Just paste. To go -2, 2. And it would be on that side. So let's jump back into the game and test our teleports. If we go left, if we go down, if we go up, right. And we need to connect it to one more. Oh no, we don't have the map above it, so we'd have to create that map. That'll be the next one. But yeah, I'm slowly chipping away, adding one map at a time, a little bit here, a little bit there. The maps aren't super great, right? Like I said, the mapping is always my weakest point, but I'm getting better at it, and I'm making little maps at a time. And I think that's a good tip, really. Start really small, and then build onto that. Cool. Well, that's basically going to do it for this live stream. I didn't want it to go too long. It's been going for 90 minutes, so almost 90 minutes. So I'll take some special requests. If you guys would like to make some special requests, go ahead and put them in the comments right now, and I could do some quick special requests at the end if there are any. Let me catch up on what I've missed. You did put Windows 10 Rusty Gears, but it completely broke your computer? Zarsla says he was using Windows 8.1 and he upgraded to 10. How do you like Windows 10, Zarsla? I've heard good stuff about it, but I've also read bad stuff about it. Maximilian says he came here to watch, enjoy, and be lazy, but now the whole XY thing is making him work. Cool, man. Figure it out. Come on, we can do it. Figure it out, Max, and then let me know how you did it, and then I'll do a tutorial on it, or you can make a tutorial on it. That'd be a great idea. All right. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming out to the stream. I just wanted to, show what I've been working on and talk about some of the ideas I had for this project and show it off a little bit and just to stay engaged with you guys. And yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you enjoy this live stream. For those who aren't watching live, thanks for watching the live stream. I'll update the comments as soon as YouTube does the processing thing, and or update the description rather, and put the links below. Right now they might not be there, but after it does its full processing, they'll be there. So thank you guys for coming and watching. If you want to get more involved with the community, you could always go to driftwoodgaming.com and make a post, introduce yourself. You never know where you're gonna get. Unless you take that chance. You're going to lose all the chances that you don't take. You've lost on all the chances you don't take. So put yourself out there, get with some people, and start some things. Whatever's going to happen is what you make happen. So, make it happen. If you want to be a game dev, take on the role of a game dev. Pretend you are a game dev until you are a game dev. You know what I'm saying? So, start trying to connect with people. That's the whole thing. It's about building connections. A lot of this whole everything in life is about who you know and who you're connected to. So many jobs and positions are based on do you have a connection with that person or that audience, you know? So start building your connections early, and you're going to get farther, I guarantee it. So that's the whole idea of driftwoodgaming.com. It's just a place where people can go for a specific thing to connect to other people who are trying to get into game dev. You know, maybe, you know, there's probably not going to be a tons of pros, but this is going to be where you guys are going to go, and then years later look back and be like, oh, I remember when that, you know, that thing did that. Or anyway, I'm freaking rambling now, but it's all for a good cause. I want you guys to succeed, and I want to succeed with you guys. So thank you guys for coming out. We'll see you guys in the next video.